Hello students, welcome back to the new session of science, that is chapter 6, life processes. Life means to live, and if we see the movement and growth in anything, we can say that it is living. For example, if any animal is moving its tail, we can say that animal is living. Or if we sow seeds in the soil and after a few days when we water it, a plant is grown from it, so we can say that it is living. But in many cases, growth is not visible, which doesn't mean that that organism is not living. For example, if we see a cactus plant, its growth is not visible, but it is growing. The processes are taking place inside the cactus also. Similarly, if you see any organism sleeping, when organism is sleeping, it doesn't mean that processes in its body are not taking place. The organism is living, and so when the processes are taking place in its body continuously. And in this chapter, we are going to study about all these processes which are taking place in the body of an organism, whether it is plant, animal, or human being. These are the different life processes taking place in the body of the organism, starting from nutrition, metabolism, that is digestion, reproduction, excretion, respiration, transportation, etc. And in this chapter, we are going to study in detail about all these processes taking place in the body of organisms. Let us start with the first process, that is nutrition, which we get from the food that we eat. Let us study this nutrition in detail. First of all, what is nutrition? Nutrition is a process by which an organism obtains its nutrients and utilizes them for its various activities like respiration, growth, repair, and replacement. We all take food. This process of taking food is called nutrition, and from that food we get nutrients which are necessary for growth and development of our body. So nutrients are the substances that an organism obtains from its surrounding, which will provide energy as well as it will be necessary for the growth and for different processes taking place in the body. So students, now let us see how do living organisms get their food. The general requirement for energy and material is common in all the organisms, but it is fulfilled in different ways. Means all require food, but there are different ways of getting food. Some organisms use simple food material obtained from inorganic sources in form of carbon dioxide and water. These organisms are called autotrophs, which includes green plants and some bacteria. Other organisms use complex substances, and these complex substances have to be broken down into simple ones before they can be used for the upkeep and the growth of the body. And to achieve this, organisms use biocatalysts called enzymes. Thus, the heterotrophs' survival depends upon directly or indirectly on autotrophs. So the organisms which directly or indirectly depend upon autotrophs are heterotrophs, and they include fungi and animals. And in these heterotrophs, to convert complex substances into simple substances, biocatalysts are there which are called enzymes. So what is the function of enzymes? They convert complex substances into simple substances. This you have to keep in mind. Let us study these modes of nutrition in detail. First one, autotrophic. Autotrophic is a nutrition obtained from inorganic sources. Auto means self and trophic means nutrition, which means that obtaining one's own nutrition by itself. That is, when an organism synthesizes or prepares its own food by the process of photosynthesis. We know that green plants prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. So, green plants are autotrophs. Same way, autotrophic bacteria also prepare their own food by themselves. So students, what is autotrophic nutrition? It is a type of nutrition in which organisms prepare their food by themselves and get the nutrients which are required for their growth and development. Above figure shows the process of photosynthesis in which plants are preparing their food with the help of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sun, and inorganic substance like sugar is produced. The equation for the process of photosynthesis can be written as 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight gives C6H12O6, which is glucose plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. Now let us see what actually happens during the process of photosynthesis. The following events take place. First event is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. We know that green colored pigment is present in the plants, which is known as chlorophyll. Now what that chlorophyll will do, it will absorb the light energy from the sunlight. Now second process is conversion of light energy into chemical energy. Now this light energy which is absorbed, it is converted into chemical energy, and then splitting of water molecules are taking place into hydrogen and oxygen. Water is getting decomposed into hydrogen and oxygen. It is decomposition reaction. You very well know it in terms of chemistry. It is decomposition reaction. Next is reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates, and the carbon dioxide which is there, you can see in the equation 6CO2, it will get reduced into carbohydrates, and these are the events which are taking place in the process of photosynthesis. Now these steps need not take place one after the other immediately. For example, desert plants take up carbon dioxide at night and prepare an intermediate which is acted upon by energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the day. So students, now we will see how plants obtain carbon dioxide. In 9th standard you have studied about stomata. What are these stomata? They are the tiny pores which are present on the surface of leaves, and massive amount of gaseous exchange take place in leaves through these pores for the process of photosynthesis. But it is important to note that exchange of gases occur across the surface of stem, roots and leaves as well. But if these pores are open only, large amount of water can be lost through this stomata. So the plant closes these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, and it will open it when it needs carbon dioxide. The opening and the closing of pores is the function of guard cells. So guard cells control the opening and closing of the stomata. You can clearly see in the diagram, guard cells are given over here. The guard cells swell and water enters into them, due to which stomatal pore will get open. And when water gets removed from them, they get shrink, and because of which the stomatal pore will close. And this way the opening and the closing of stomata will take place. It can be asked in the long answer, explain the closing and opening of the stomata with the help of figure, or it can be asked, explain how plants obtain their carbon dioxide. You have to do this figure and you have to explain this if it is asked. Another type of nutrition is heterotrophic nutrition, which is obtained from organic sources. Hetero means other. So this is a type of nutrition in which organisms obtain their nutrients from other organisms. Heterotrophic nutrition is divided into three categories. First one is saprophytic nutrition. It is a type of nutrition in which organisms feed on dead and decaying plants and animals' material. Saprophytes secrete digestive enzymes which act on complex organic matter outside the organism, and then soluble products are absorbed through body surface. So first of all, these organisms will act on this dead and decaying material, and they will convert complex matter into simple matter, and then it is absorbed by the surfaces of their body. Example of saprophytes are fungi and bacteria. Another type of heterotrophic nutrition is parasitic nutrition. In this type of nutrition, organisms obtain food from the body of another living organism, and this living organism on which they are depending are called host. Now these parasites are of two types, endoparasites and exoparasites. Endo means in. So endoparasites are the parasites which live inside the body of the host. Example, tapeworm, roundworm, etc. Exoparasites. Exo means out. So parasites which live on the body of the host are called exoparasites. Example, lice, leech, etc. The parasite benefits while the host is actually harmed in this. Example, Cuscuta plant, Plasmodium, etc. So in this parasitic mode of nutrition, the organism which is obtaining nutrition is only benefited. The third type of heterotrophic nutrition is holozoic nutrition. Organisms, mostly animals, take in the whole food and then digest it into smaller particles with the help of enzymes. And this type of nutrition is called holozoic nutrition. The steps which are involved in the holozoic nutrition are, first of all, ingestion, that is taking in the food. Second one is digestion. So after ingestion, that is taking in the food, the process of digestion takes place, which is breaking down of complex food into simpler food, that is in the absorbable form. The third form is absorption. After it is converted into simplest form, it is absorbed. Then assimilation, which is the digested food is utilized to obtain energy. And the last process is egestion, that is the removal of undigested food from the body. So this is holozoic nutrition. So students, we have studied about heterotrophic nutrition. It can be asked in long answer, explain heterotrophic nutrition in detail, in which you have to explain all these types of heterotrophic nutrition also. Now students, let us see how holozoic nutrition takes place in amoeba. First of all, amoeba senses the food. Then you can see that mouth-like projection is formed with cavity, that is known as pseudopodia. So pseudopodia surrounds the food. Then food is enclosed in the food vacuole. The fourth process is the enzymes which are present in the cytoplasm are secreted in the food vacuole. Now food is digested and soluble materials are absorbed and assimilated, which means that the soluble substances are used up and the undigested food or undigested waste is expelled out. So this way holozoic nutrition takes place in amoeba. We'll see this in detail in the next slide. This question is very important question. Many times it is asked in examination, and if it is asked, you have to draw the diagrams also. So nutrition in amoeba. It is a holozoic mode of nutrition. Its food are phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. It takes in the food by the process of phagocytosis. So keep in mind, the process by which amoeba takes the food is known as phagocytosis. Now steps in the nutrition. First one is ingestion, that is it engulfs the food with the help of pseudopodia to form a food vacuole. Second process is digestion. In the food vacuole, digestive enzymes break and digest the food. Third process is absorption. The digested food is absorbed. Fourth is assimilation. That is the soluble parts of the digested food diffuses into cytoplasm and it is utilized by the cell to release energy. Now the last process is egestion. That is undigested food is moved to the surface of the cell and is thrown out from any point on the membrane. So this way the process of nutrition takes place in amoeba. The organisms performing holozoic nutrition are divided into three categories. You have already studied about this in lower classes. Let us revise it. Herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. What are herbivores? They are the organisms which feed on plants. Carnivores are the organisms that feed on other organisms. And omnivores are the organisms that feed on both plants and other organisms. Now let us recall what we studied in this lecture. We studied about nutrition and the types of nutrition. That is autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms prepare their food by themselves, and heterotrophic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms depend on other organisms for their food. Heterotrophic nutrition is divided into three categories: holozoic, saprophytic and parasitic. In holozoic nutrition, the organisms are dependent on other organisms for their food. Examples: human beings, animals, insectivorous plants, etc. Saprophytic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms depend upon dead and decaying material for their food. Example: bacteria, fungi, etc. And parasitic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms are dependent on another organism for their food. Example: lice, tapeworms, etc. If it is asked to give the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, you can include these points. First one, food is prepared from carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. And here in heterotrophic nutrition, food is obtained from another organism. For autotrophic nutrition, chlorophyll is required, whereas for heterotrophic, it is not required. Example: green plants and some bacteria. Here the examples are fungi and different other organisms or animals. Next one is food is generally obtained during daytime, and here food is obtained all the time. So this way difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition can also be asked. With this we end our lecture. We'll continue the other topics in the next lecture.